Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to share my most recent stiff read with you. We're talking about Morning Time, A Liturgy of Love by Cindy Rollins. If you've ever wondered all about morning time, what it is, what you're supposed to do, why people do it, or you're looking to create a calm anchor for your day, this book is for you. Just a little bit about Cindy Rollins before we begin. She is a longtime homeschooling mother who is inspired by Charlotte Mason's philosophy of education. In the book, morning time is described as something for the entire family of all ages to share. As Cindy says, it's capturing the hours of your day before they flit away. It is making sure the most beautiful things happen first. And very few things we do in this life bear as much fruit as morning time. I will say, as a former teacher, morning time is very familiar to me. We used to do something called morning meeting. Cindy talks a little bit about morning meeting in her book. It's a little bit different from a homeschooling mother, a mother teacher, to a classroom teacher perspective. But I will say, just doing something in the morning every single day with that group of students, it really did provide a sense of calm. It built community. It looked a little bit different, of course, than what it's going to look like in your home. As someone who did something like that for almost a decade in the classroom, I can tell you it is so valuable. And so when I started learning about morning time and how there's something that you can do in the home that, again, it's not going to look like what it looks like in the classroom, but it has that same idea of an anchor for your day coming together with the people in your home. I knew that this would work. And again, I don't have a lot of experience as a homeschooling mom, or really a mom in general. My kids are very young, but I can see how this is going to work because I've seen it work time and time again in the classroom. So as I've learned more about morning time, I get very excited about it because I really do think it is something that, like Cindy says, you're going to see the fruits of your labor, not right away, but you will eventually see them. Cindy has a few different categories for morning time, which I will get into in a moment. But first, what I really wanted to do is just sort of share some key things that I found to be really helpful as I was reading the book. And I have talked about this before, but the way the book is divided, it is about 70 to 75 pages of philosophy, what morning time is, how she's implemented it in her home. And then the rest of it is actually an anthology. So Cindy gives you resources on different things that you can do in your home, hymns, poetry, things like that. She actually gives you the actual ones that she has used in the past or that she recommends. And I think that makes this book so valuable, not only because she goes into the philosophy of everything, but because then she also gives you a resource that you can use for years to come. So for me, there are about 5 key takeaways from this book. The first one really was the romantic ideal, which was on the very first page. Now, this quote is not from Cindy. It's from the person who wrote the introduction, the foreword to the book. So just another homeschooling mother. But she says, "But a romantic ideal often clashes with real life, and the practical outworking of lofty ideas can be a challenge." Raise your hand if you've ever seen perfect morning time squares on Instagram or baskets. You just thought to yourself, yeah, that's not happening in my house. I think sometimes that causes us to give up before we've even started because what we're seeing is the ideal. We're seeing the perfect morning time, the perfect selection of books, the perfect wicker basket, right? This book just felt really encouraging to me. I felt really seen right from the first page, right from that quote. I work full time. I'm not home full time with my kids. So I don't have time to lay out, hand crochet dollies every morning and light a candle. Would I love to do that? Yeah, but that's just not the season of life that we're in right now. Did that make me feel guilty for a while? Also, yes, because I thought, well, what am I doing then? This is not this beautiful morning time that everyone has. I'm not lighting a candle with a match, which scares the bejesus out of me. I'm not putting out these beautiful doilies that I've handcrafted or this pretty tablecloth. Like, I don't have this nice wicker basket. And I think having that quote on the very first page just really solidified for me that this book, it's not about what it looks like. It's not about being perfect. It's not about the romantic ideal. And I love that. The second key takeaway for me from this book was to have a plan, but not a rigid one. Cindy talks a lot about in her book, having a basket of books in the living room, having all of the books together. I actually have this as well. Our morning time books sit in a basket in the area that we will be doing morning time, and this helps a lot. Mornings can get hectic, especially with little ones, especially if you're working full time, especially if you have to be out of the house at a certain time. You don't want the 5-minute window that you have your 3-year-old's attention to be spent with them watching you flail around the house trying to collect all of the things that you had planned for morning time that day. You just want to be able to pick up the basket and sit wherever it is that you'll be sitting and doing morning time with them. She also uses a planning worksheet in her book that she uses to plan out different things to accomplish this week. And one of the things I really love that she says is, she writes like day 1, day 2, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. She goes through the 5 days of the week. But she says, I go through it, and when the paper is done, then I move on to the next one. So it's not like getting bogged down with, oh my gosh, it's Wednesday. I was supposed to read The Tortoise and the Hare with my children on Wednesday. I didn't. Morning time is ruined. Let's give up. It's like, okay, today was Wednesday. We didn't do that. Let's just do it the next day. When this paper is done, I will go ahead and make a new plan. We are not there yet with our morning time. I don't really feel the need to plan it quite yet. Again, I have a young child. She does bring it up and how she started when she had a 4-year-old. But a majority of the things I think that are in here are geared more towards school-age children that are already being homeschooled. So I think at that stage, having some sort of plan for what you're doing each morning is important because you probably have to hit pieces of their curriculum. For me right now, that's just not something that I need. But I think having some sort of plan, even if it's just I know what books I'm going to open during morning time, I think that helps. My third key takeaway from this book was to start small. I'll be sharing what my morning time routine looks like as a working mom in a few weeks, but it did not start that way. And Cindy talks about this in her book as well. Start with one book, one category, one song, one something. Just start there. She discusses this, and I can truthfully attest to the fact that if you start trying to do everything, you will end up doing nothing because you will get discouraged because it won't work right away. So set yourself up for success and start small. My fourth takeaway was keep plotting. This is probably my favorite quote in the entire book, where Cindy says, for every idyllic morning, there will be 5 okay mornings and 3 terrible ones. I can assure you that plotting pays off. I have lived this. It is actually amazing how the same child with the same routine can totally love it one day, and the next day it just goes completely wrong. Like, there have been days where we will get through every single thing on our list for morning time, and then there have been days where I'm lucky that I read one book. I'm lucky that I read a book, and there have been days when we just haven't done it. I think for her to say, like, just keep plotting, to have an experienced mother say, just keep plotting, just keep going. Plodding along, even just for a little bit, will add up to more than you can imagine over time. And I feel like that's so true. We tend to focus on today was rough, this morning was rough, I didn't do the morning time basket this morning, I only got to one thing this morning. But the attempt at it, and just knowing that there are going to be some fantastic mornings, but a majority of them are not going to look like that picture perfect box that you see all over the internet. And that is okay. You're still doing it. You're still setting that anchor for your home. You're still instilling truth, goodness, and beauty in your children every morning, or at least trying to. So Cindy does go over the components of morning time, what she uses. She lists out the categories and different resources that she used for each category, which I found to be very helpful. Again, I think for her, this book is geared a little bit more towards school-age children, not really younger children, but I do think it's valuable if you have younger children to still read it, because you can sort of see where you're going, right? You can see how the little things that you're doing right now will lead up to those big things. So really for me, it's like I'm laying the foundation right now, and I really appreciated seeing where it can lead in the future. And the other thing I love is she's so honest about the pitfalls and successes that she's seen over the years with her family and with her multiple age groups of kids. So in her morning time, she includes things like prayer and Bible reading, singing, poetry, Shakespeare, Plutarch, composers and artists. She does some grammar, some read alouds, and nature notebooking. And again, she's not doing all of this every single day. She gives some example schedules of what a real morning time looked like in their home or looks like in their home. But these are the categories that she sort of focuses on in her book, gives you resources on in her book, and sort of tells you, this is how I do it in my home. These are some things you might want to consider, et cetera, et cetera. So I would say as my first stiff read of 2026, this one was a huge success. I truthfully read the first part, the philosophy part, twice. It is full of highlights, full of notes, and something I know that I will reference a lot over the years, especially as my kids grow. This is definitely a book I recommend reading slowly, rereading multiple times, or maybe even rereading each year as your family grows and changes. I certainly will most likely probably be rereading it each year. And truthfully, if your morning time has ever felt, like overwhelming or not worth it, or just you've been discouraged by the picture perfect morning time, I think this book is perfect for you. So if you've read Morning Time, A Liturgy of Love by Cindy Collins, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And let me know if you found this review helpful. I haven't done a single book review really ever on this channel, so it's something that I'm interested to see if y'all liked. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.